It's war.
What the fuck is up? This is your host, Double A. I've had a very interesting day today. But that doesn't matter because I finally figured out what the fuck I'm calling this shit. I'm calling it Crown of Thoughts. And if you don't like it, don't fucking listen to it. Crown of Thoughts. Like, my thoughts plague me. I go into these modes where in my head, I immediately zoom straight to something that's really fucking bothered me and makes me really feel horrible. And then I'll like forget about it and be smiling, and then it's like my brain's like, "Yo, you forgot, man. We're doing that feel like shit thing," and I'm like, "Oh, damn." Here I am getting away with being okay and being happy. And I know that something, I can find something. A relative is going through this. My friend's dog is sick. So I'm going to just imagine this sick, dying dog in my head. I could say, whatever you want to come up with. Oh, here's one. And this one's a pretty good example because it shows how you could zoom to thinking about the most horrible thing possible with no reason to. So like there in my head sometimes, not really that much anymore, but it's like I've been through these cycles to the point where I feel like I can speak with some kind of authority. So it's like, oh, there's always the classic one. Someday my parents are going to die. What do I do then? Like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That's really the best example. And it's like the reason is because it is technically a bad thing and it is a reality, and but it's the most absolute worst thing that you could be thinking about at this moment. And so usually this happens in very smaller. It's usually like smaller stuff that you're thinking about. I was using that as an example, so you actually know what I'm talking about. It'll be like a small thing, and it's like for me, if there's not a whole lot, it's never like this. But let's say for the sake of argument, and there were jobs in the past where it had been like this, like there's no orders coming in, and you'll get there and they'll be like, oh, we don't have any work for you. Um, maybe we got to send someone home, and it's like, what the fuck, And you get and that'll be like going like that for a couple months, we'll say, till the new contract comes in, or whatever the reason was for that. And yeah, but you'll be complaining, man. I'm only getting like 38 hours or 32 hours, I think would be the number that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I only get 32 hours a week anymore. And then bam, the orders come in. It's about to start. It's about to be looking up for you because you can get away from your little 32 hours. Oh man, there's too much. There's too much going on at work. It just doesn't stop. Man, I get like 48 hours every week. It's tiring. So you got, pretty sure a lot of people have actually heard that from people, but so you got two ways of looking at two different scenarios. both things are going to happen. You're going to have periods where you're working 32 hours a week because of whatever the reason may be. And then you're going to have times where you're working 48 hours a week in this particular scenario. And so when when you're only working 32 hours a week, why don't you just say like, man, it's nice to have a fucking break here. There's a couple things I wanted to do around the house or whatever, or I'm just tired and old and decrepit and I have a bad knee or whatever the case may be. And then when it's 48 hours, why don't you just look at it like, oh, my checks are looking good, man. I'm gonna eat this up. I'm gonna get some more money in my savings here. But it's like you can look at everything in like an inverse way. That's not doesn't really make sense. But you can look at the inverse of what would be the appropriate thing to look at in any scenario. I needed to use that word inverse. And so that's like, what am I? Oh, yeah. So I was doing that in my head today at work. There's like something going on that's very not good. And it's like, eventually you just gotta figure this little thing out, this game you're gonna play with yourself. Because why make everything that happens like more painful or frustrating than what is necessary? Is probably because you're just not paying attention. You're not paying attention to what's going on in your head. You're not paying attention to what you're actually thinking or what you're actually trying to do. You're gonna pull the worst thing out of a scenario because you're just complained a lot. You're like sarcastic or something, or what's the word, cynical. You just like, maybe you have trouble finding anything else to talk about unless you're saying like, hey man, blah blah blah, yeah, I know, and it's like every day too. What are you gonna do? And then like from there, you kind of go to this state where it's like you're trying to have a conversation with somebody. So you're trying to think of something to say, and you've learned to say like negative, cynical shit to talk to people because it's kind of easy. You know what I mean? Like you're at Sheets and you got some donuts. You're taking your donuts up to the counter. Man, it's hot out there today. Yeah, it's only getting worse tomorrow. Yep. That's a pretty easy way to just, some, what do you call that when you're not talking about deep shit? Whatever, I still can't think of it. That's a pretty easy, like, thing to throw out there. A pretty easy icebreaker. How are you doing? Fine, yeah, blah. It's one of those. But it's a little more like, oh, he would understand this. He would understand the struggle of this. But like your mind's then just when you're talking to people, it starts like seeking out negative shit to use. And before you know it, you're pissed off that you only got fucking 32 hours to work this week. And last week you retired from the 48, you know? And so someone's on vacation, and now I have to work 4 12-hour shifts in a row, which I can do that. I'm a beast. But it's like, oh, do I count the money? Do I whatever? Should I worry about this? Should I be happy about this? It's like, well, how about, it's not going to be fun. It's 4 12-hour fucking shifts in a row. This is not fun. Well, so what am I going to do then? Like, well, just know that it's that it's happening, and know that you got to prepare for it. Maybe do your fucking laundry and put your clothes out, beforehand. Make like go to bed at a specific time, do this, that, and then in your head you're like preparing for it. And like if it's Friday and you're not gonna go to bed at fucking whatever time you were doing the 4 12-hour shifts. You're gonna be excited. Oh, I don't have to work tomorrow. And then you won't prepare, so you'll stay up, goofing off or whatever. What am I talking about, man? Yeah. Well, so, prepare for shit, and you know, that's what you need to do. Make a bologna sandwich, wear clean socks, you know. Um, Now you're going to be working 4 12-hour shifts, so you can leave the fridge with that weird smell, without cleaning the whole thing out. I'll grant you that one. Okay? I know this is going to be difficult. So maybe your day off, find out what that weird smell is, and something like that. Now, a 12-hour shift. Well, and it's like, I gotta play this stupid game again. 12 hours. 12-hour shift. I can think about this horrible thing for 12 hours. That sounds amazing. I can use the 12 hours to keep busy, to not think about this thing. And then I'll be doing this whole like, well, it doesn't help to think about the thing. It's not solving the problem, and like keep going and going. And it's like I'm thinking about the thing in order to give the advice to myself. It's like, how about, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you get to your computer and do some quality checks? Why don't you go fix that? Why don't you go fix that oil leak? Why don't you keep doing shit like that? And then it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get home though. I'm gonna think about the thing at home. And you get home and you're like, now, Aaron, look, thinking about the thing, not gonna solve the thing. Okay, calm down, calm down, relax, relax. It's not the time for the thinking about the thing. And like you're thinking about it while you're trying to rationalize. So it's like, I think that's why people meditate, I think. So they don't have that thing going on. Like my first episode was called Ruminating Thoughts for a fucking reason. I was thinking about that stuff, and I was like, well, I'm just going to talk about it till it makes sense to me. And that's kind of like, that's what I did. And I felt like what I was going to do is write on paper all this stuff in my head because there's a lot of it. And I'm starting to realize that writing things down, and I'm just talking like normal stuff like you guys probably all write down, but I'm just figuring out that works, man, because instead of keeping all this stuff in my head, which doesn't stay doesn't stay there, it kind of comes and goes. So on the paper though, the paper doesn't do that. The paper stays there. The fuck am I talking about? So I was gonna write this I was gonna write all this stuff in my head down on the paper. And I hate doing that because obviously your hand can't keep up with your head, and you've already thought like how many different things before you even started writing or finished spelling one of the words. It's like, oh, my brain's already gone through a lot at this point in time. The hand's got like one word written, and it's not even relevant at this point because I've thought about so much other stuff. I'm looking at my laptop. I'm thinking to myself, well, hey, you were just your buddy down the street who has his hero of the day broadcast had you as a featured guest, like other people when it would have famous people on, and that was fun. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. Back in the day, I used to use this Audacity program. Anyway, I set the thing up, put that old intro on. I don't think it's relevant to what I talk about. Like it's like Alien versus Predator, slasher noises, whatever it is. Like I think it's probably the Predator like slashing the alien because predators are beasts, and there's only ever like a couple of them, and then there's like the aliens are like fucking hornets or wasps. They remind me of wasps. They just keep, but they'll take over a whole planet if you let them. They breed really, and so I think like the story of Alien versus Predator. It's like the predators would populate planets with aliens so they have something to hunt, and they would also go find like the biggest and baddest things to hunt. Alien, so I believe, just were those. They were you know the something, the hunt they could contend with, you know so I threw that intro up on there, and I was like, let's just talk about stuff into the thing, because it's like i don't I can't write it down. My brain flies around too fast. So, well, yeah, so I recorded it. I had that little intro. I put that on before I even started recording the damn thing. And then I was just going to play it back and listen to it and then log a bunch of them in here instead of having a journal. That's actually what I'm doing because I don't think anyone's listened to this yet. I'm stockpiling these. I'm gonna bust out. I'm gonna bust out with like 500 of them, make this page, pretend it had all these visits, so everyone's like, whoa, what have I been missing, man? I gotta hear this. Apparently, this is the popular one to hear now. So informative. I didn't know that thing about the predators coming down to these planets. Like, I just watched the movie. I didn't realize that when they made the first Alien versus Predator, they butchered the plot. I thought that's how it went. But I do. I have a lot of like informative, awesome things to say. Sometimes, not very often. I just think on this thing. And that's really all I'm trying to do. Because, like today, um, my mind was like attacking itself all day at work. You know, like, isn't this a sad situation? Remember this thing and this thing? Those were good times. And now the thing's gone. It was whatever. I'm not telling you what was on my mind, but it's like thinking about the past and the good times in the past made me feel horrible. And I might have like perfected this power because I had a pretty, pretty decent, like, I held on pretty decently and switched my brain around and managed to be cool and just let go of that shit out of my mind and go about my day. That was not what I was able to do like 10 years ago. I'd have been fucked up in the head for months. And I'm like, well, what causes this? Like, how can I get my rational mind to like tell my other mind, the emotional part, yo, bro, this is not helpful. And you don't have to feel bad if you don't want to. That'd be cool, man. I don't really think it quite works that way, but at least not that pronounced. It's not like a light switch. But I pretty much like was able to focus on the day, get through stuff, try to rationalize a little, but just be like, yo, stop, just stop thinking. And that's why I think all these like smart people or wise people that you would see talking keep bringing up meditating, and it's like, bitch, I'm not wearing a fucking tie-dye shirt. I eat meat. I'm not meditating. It's fucking gay. And then as I sit here and unravel my thoughts and think about this stuff, like right now, I'm like, whoa, meditation is probably gonna help that. At work, I wasn't like, it's not like I woke up this morning and was like, hey, that thing, meditate. That'll probably take care of it. I just don't draw that conclusion instantly. Maybe you guys did when I woke up thinking that thing today, but I didn't. So that's why crown of thoughts, crown of crown of thoughts. Oh yeah, sounds like a band name, you know. But it's like crown of thorns, but they're thoughts. You see, bro, that's why nobody listens to these things. You say shit like that. You know what I noticed? I was playing back some of these, and it's like I'm sitting there and I'm like, I say fuck like every other word. It's not even like an adjective anymore. It's just the thing I say in between other words. Yeah, fucking like I was fucking eating this fucking popcorn and didn't have enough fucking butter on it. And I went back to the counter. I'm like, fucking put some more butter on this fucking popcorn. Fucking. It's a little bit little bit over the top on the fuckings right there. You know, thought my vocabulary was a little better than that. You know, it's fucking awful. Forgot to buy food. My license is suspended, so it's like I get home after 12 hours of working, and today was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And it's like I'm gonna wash a pan and cook myself something to eat. Yeah, that's happening. But of course, someone was driving me home because I don't have a license, and I couldn't be like, "Hey, could you stop over there? I'm gonna grab like 6 cheeseburgers and slam that shit down tonight." Like 20,000 calories, man. I don't care. I just worked 12 hours. I'll wake up thin. Someone's nice enough to drive you home from work. You don't want to make too many requests. You might need them to do it again sometime. So here I am. It's 12-hour shifts, so it's not like I'm going to do anything. I'm sitting here doing this, but I was going to watch a movie quick. That's like when you do long shifts like that and you do them back to back, you understand that hey, when I get home, maybe I can like get a movie in so I have something else in my head there to think about. That's not like relevant to anything. Maybe I could get a movie in. What's that called? Like fucking relax. Some escapism. That would have been so much easier to say. Maybe like I'd just get a movie in, you know, eat something, and call it a night. And then you realize you're watching like one movie and you appreciate it more and you absorb it more. I got off for 3 days. I got the stereo blasting, the fucking TV's on mute, playing constant like slasher flicks and old cheesy bullshit, and I'm not even watching it. But if I have to work the next day, I have very limited time. I watch the fuck out of a movie. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to become the movie. And then for 12 hours the next day, I got nothing. I'm going to think about that movie. I'll dissect it. I'll rewrite it. Whatever I want to do. That movie, it's like peanuts. You know what I mean? Like peanuts with the shells on them. You appreciate them more. You just eat a big thing of just fucking big thing of peanuts without the shells. You're gonna get sick in a little bit because you don't notice how many of those peanuts you're eating, and they're filling. They're more filling than like something else you'd munch on. And I can't munch on anything, man. I'm hungry. There's this Jamaican Caribbean choice. It's called. There's this Jamaican food place, and it's like there it was a Dunkin' Donuts, and that shut down. I'm not gonna say why, because I'll get mad and I'll go on a rant. And it's not fun to hear people talk about specific topics that have to do with the economy. So Caribbean Choice bought the building, I guess, and they have Jamaican food now. I went in there probably a year ago, and I bought what was it, like jerk chicken or something? I don't remember what it was. I sit down and I'm eating it, and I'm like, damn. Like I've literally like never had anything that tasted like this. And I told the lady at the counter, made her pretty happy. Yeah, the Jamaican food, so good. I ate there so many different times. Be bringing the meals back home, loading up the fridge with them. It's closer than the grocery store. Remember, I'm walking, no license. So I wish there were like two other restaurants like right there. So I could choose. I could go to third base. They have good fried chicken and the mambo sauce. But I actually bought like a whole. They sold a whole containers of the mambo sauce. $5.99. That's a little bit, but it's the mambo sauce, man. You gotta. Man, I'm hungry. Got myself in this situation, and it's like I've now I've now brought myself into a mental state where I'm not thinking about the thing. Was doing pretty good there, and I forgot I was supposed to be thinking about the thing. Let's feel awful again, dude. You were just talking about Jamaican food and all this cool shit. It's time to go right back to the thing that was putting your stomach in a knot that you didn't really feel like thinking about because you can't solve it anyway. So that's how it works.